so much. I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you so much.
Hello, all you positive heads out there. Thanks for tuning your beautiful brainwaves into another episode of the Positive Head Podcast, where we are firmly convinced that creating success and happiness is rooted in understanding the ultimate nature of reality. And the fact that as human beings, we are all immensely powerful fractals of the one and only source consciousness, which creates and animates all things. Now, of course, understanding this powerful truth is one thing. Applying this incredibly empowering wisdom to everyday life, well, that's another. Which is exactly why we provide you with a fresh serving of soul food for thought 5 days a week. To help constantly remind you of what matters most. You are it. And I'm your host for the day, Erica Middlemiss. I am just another reflection and extension of you who will be here filling in for our beloved host, Brandon Beecham, leading the way to ensure your perspective is consistently expanded, your vibration is constantly elevated, and your heart is overflowing and full. Also, this episode of the Positive Head Podcast is being brought to you thanks to the support of Gaia. If you're not familiar, Gaia is the go-to source for streaming consciousness content online. And you can sign up for your first month for only 99 cents at gaia.com/positivehead. That's spelled GAIA.com/positivehead. Check it out. All right, all you positive heads, welcome back. Today is a terrific Tuesday here in Positive Head Land. Today, I am going to answer a listener's question. I thought it was a terrific question, and it made me think of all sorts of things that are fun to talk about, like our dream world and time being an illusion and our intuition and all sorts of good things. But before we get into that question, I would like to read a review. You all know how much we love getting these and how much it fuels Brandon's fire to do this labor of love 5 days a week. So we really appreciate when you all send these in, and we love to read them. And this one is by Leboster, and hopefully I'm not completely messing that pronunciation up, but Leboster called his review Beacon of Love. And he says, powerful, transformative, diverse, loving, open-minded teachings being orchestrated through a spiritual warrior, Brandon, and his powerful, uplifting guests, and his co-creating members he affectionately calls P-heads. I've been listening to Brandon for 2 years now, and I know this podcast has saved lives and it has changed lives. It is likely he has saved mine just by leading me to the truth. Once you get a taste of truth and love, while you are alone, confused, and lost in the darkness, you become addicted to it, and soon you will make your love grow because love is light, and without it, you cannot see. Next, you find yourself going deep down the rabbit hole with all these fun, innovative ways of thinking and being, only to find your true self there. Once you have seen the truth, and once you have raised your vibrations, then it is really time to have some fun and become a master manifester, which this podcast offers wonderful guidance on how to do. Also, they made a great Facebook page that is very active. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, P-heads. Journey well. That's awesome, Leboster. Very nicely put. Very well said. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you and your beautiful words. And yes, speaking of the Facebook page, if you haven't yet joined the P-heads group on Facebook, please do so. Lots of good chats and supportive community going on there, which is awesome to see. So if you haven't joined yet, please join us on there. So like I said, today we're going to read a question and answer a question. And this was sent in by Lori. And Lori says, hi, Brandon. I'm hoping you can cover a topic on your podcast. I searched for the topic, but I don't see it. And it can be covered from a broader perspective to cover more people with similar experiences. For me, it's death. A mild scenario would be someone I wasn't close to will pop in my head anywhere from a day to a few hours before they die. The closer I am to someone, the earlier I get the messages, visions, thoughts, and signs. I don't know that they are signs at the time because I can feel people thinking about me. I usually hear from them within a few hours. From the physical standpoint, I know there is nothing I can do about their death prior when I have a close relationship with them. The downloads usually start about 3 months before the death of someone close to me. For example, in 2010, about 3 months prior to a very close friend's death, I saw him walk across the parking lot and disappear, like as if in thin air. The friend next to me said he did not see him at all. The visions continued. The last day I saw him alive, I was leaving to go home. A voice said loud, "Say goodbye again." I was taken aback at how loud it was, and so I went back and said goodbye again. He died just yards away from the spot on my birthday. The most recent one was my ex. He started coming to me for 3 months prior and after his death. I did not know he died until about 2.5 months later. My mom called me to ask about my ex. She said a website with his name popped up on her computer. The story didn't make sense, so I Googled his name, and that's when I saw his obituary. We hadn't talked in a while, but I had the feeling I was going to hear from him soon because I had been getting downloads for about 6 months. I didn't realize it meant he was about to die. My mind says there is nothing I can do to prevent the deaths, but when people are prominent in my dreams or thoughts, there are times when anxiety builds. I'm afraid I'm getting these downloads because it means they died so frantically, so I frantically try to connect with them. For the ones I'm close with, it beats me up. My baseline daily emotion is happy and upbeat, so it comes out in other ways like gaining a lot of weight for a while. They stay with me after death as well, when I'm close to them. Whatever it is I'm holding on to, I want to release, but don't know what I'm holding on to or what it is I need to release. I'm hoping you speaking about the topic can help shift something in me so I can let go of whatever I need to let go of. I've pondered the idea that since time isn't real, all events have already happened, including people's deaths, and I'm just sensitive to it, as well as someone thinking about me. I don't know how connected the two are since people who I'm not close to or talk to in 20 years come to me right before their death as well. I know whatever this is not limited to death. I have a friend who knows when a major earth shift is about to happen about a day before it does. And it is always having to do with the earth, volcanoes, major earthquakes, etc. That is something I don't feel. How and why do people feel what seems like themed events? Thankfully positive, Lori. Thank you, Lori. This is a really great question. There's lots and lots of things to actually get into. So thank you so much for sending that in. I did take a look, and there are a few episodes that Brandon has done dealing with death, and they are episode 436, 520, and 573 if you want to go back and listen to those. Those are great episodes. So, Lori, I really like this question because not only did it make my mind go down a bunch of different avenues and topics I wanted to explore, but also because I've had the very same experiences. And it's not so easy when you're trying to figure out if you're seeing the fact that someone's going to die or if they're just going to give you a phone call, right? And so what I think that this comes down to is learning how to make discernments within your own intuition. And that takes a really long time to do, and it takes working with it. So my first experience, I was 9 or 10 years old. I dreamt that my grandfather had died, and my mother was walking down the stairs about to tell me. And that was my dream. And then I walked home from school the next day. I walked in the house, and there was my mother walking down the stairs telling me that my grandfather had died. And so from a really early age, I've been like, what is going on here? How come I can see this stuff? And what ultimately it did was help me to get into looking into things, to researching the universe, to learning about creation and learning about my intuition. So, and dreams, learning to work with my dreams. So I think that's a really big thing here for you. It seems like you have some pretty serious dreams, and dreams can be there's a variety of different kinds of dreams. You're having prophetic dreams, and you're also having symbolic dreams. And I think also some visitation dreams. You said that some of these people stay with you after they die. So I wonder if they're visiting you in your dreams as well. So, with dreaming, if you're not already journaling, I would definitely recommend that, because by journaling, you can remember your dreams better. And then you can also start to work with them and understand what they're trying to tell you. Because our dreamland is really when we go back to spirit. So when our body needs sleep, our spirit does not. And so our spirit goes off and goes back into the spirit world. And we do all kinds of things when we're over there. We visit with people, we go to school, we help others transition. And I wonder if you're doing that as well. I had a lady who I had under hypnosis. I do a hypnosis technique called quantum healing hypnosis technique created by Dolores Cannon. And this one lady was told that when she is sleeping in her dreamland, she is actually helping people cross over. Turns out in real life, she is a hospice nurse. And it's just part of her path. She deals with death very well. And so, she works with it in her waking and in her dream world. And the dream world really is our real world, isn't it? Because this life is actually the illusion. And that's kind of a weird thing to think about. And some people get a little upset because, that doesn't seem quite right, does it? That this is the illusion that seems so real, but our dreamland, the crazy place where nothing makes any sense and we can fly and do all those things, that's the real part. Well, yeah, because that's the eternal part. That's the part of us that never dies. That's the part that doesn't need to sleep. So yeah, that's what makes it real. That's the part that is connected to source. That's the part when we're over there in between our lives where we're making our contracts with people and where we're making our life plan. And we plan both of our entrance and our exit. So what that means too is that when you're getting these visions or predictions that someone's going to die, that's part of their plan, isn't it? So it makes you wonder, okay, so why am I getting these visions if there's really nothing I can do about it? So for me, I've realized that, sometimes the reason why I'm seeing it is because I might be the only person in that person's life that has some sort of connection like that is paying attention to my gift so that I can actually help them on their journey. So I can't change their journey. It's part of their path. I couldn't have prevented their death. Although there have been times when I've had some situations where I thought I maybe could have. And really, we're not God here. I mean, we are in terms of the fact that we're all little God creators, but in terms of everyone's own path, we're each responsible for our own path, and nobody else can really change that for us. So we can take a lot of the responsibility out there and not feel guilty when you think you could have done something because you really couldn't have. We all have this exit plan, and we're going to leave when it's time to leave. So I wonder if that is what, Lori, if that's what you're holding on to, is guilt of maybe being able to do something, but you didn't. And so I hope that idea that I just explained comes through about everyone having their own path. And I get that you get that too, but it's hard when you're actually seeing it and in advance, and maybe it was an untimely death and you think that you might be able to do something about it. On the flip side, maybe it's just the universe working with you to help you learn how to make your own discernments with your own intuition. So as I talk about this, it reminds me of a specific experience that I had. It was a few years ago now, but or more. But I had a woman who was a patient of mine who I'd been seeing for years and years. And she came into the office one day and she just didn't look quite right. Like she wasn't her normal, healthy, bouncy self. And so I started asking her questions about what was going on in her life. And she was telling me that, her husband started to act funny. And as she was telling me the story of what was going on, I had a vision in my mind's eye, of her husband walking into the room where she was sleeping and him shooting her. And so after I saw that in my mind, I thought it was symbolic. And so I said to her, "Hey, listen, I think you're in a bit of danger here. Do you have a plan? Do you have a way to get out? Do you have somewhere to stay?" And she assured me that yes, she was planning on doing that. She had set some money aside. She had somewhere to go. And she promised me that that was what she was going to do. And we talked about this for a long time, and I felt confident that she was actually going to do that. And I come to find out a few weeks later that that actually is what had happened. And then I'm thinking to myself, wow, okay, that was not symbolic. That was real. That was an absolute vision of what was just going to happen. And so the guilt that I had about that afterwards was pretty heavy, because I thought maybe I could have done something more. Maybe I could have been more persistent. Maybe I could have, called and made sure that that's what she was doing. But I had known her for such a long time, and she was such a strong woman, and she said, "Yeah, absolutely, this is what I'm doing," and I had to come to a place where I knew that there was absolutely nothing that I could do about that. That was part of the plan. That was part of the soul contract. As hard as that is to believe in this human conscious mind, that I had nothing to do with that. Yeah. What I did learn from it was that when I have a vision like that in my head and it feels the way it feels, then I am now able to distinguish, okay, this is maybe a future event and not symbolism. And so what I learned is to really trust that feeling that comes along with these intuitive hits that we get. And the feeling makes all the difference. Like, how does it make you feel? How real does it feel? And then in that way, you can start making the discernments. And that's how I started to learn. So I came to a place where I realized that she played that role in my life, in my path, just involving me in hers. Does that make sense? If I were to carry that guilt, what good have done anyone? It wouldn't have done anybody any good, because this is all laid out for us before we get here. We make these choices. And that's really hard to understand when things are tragic and untimely. But we do. From the other side, it looks a whole lot different than it looks here. There's a reason for it on many, many different levels. Another reason I think about when it comes to seeing death before it happens is our higher self is communicating this message to us so that in order when this does happen, that we can better process it, that we can handle it better. We knew it was coming. And in my life, I know that has really helped me a lot. Anytime that I have a sense or a knowing that this is going to happen, then when it actually does, it's kind of like, okay, I was somewhat prepared for this. My own mother's death, I knew it was coming. It was a knowing. I didn't have a vision. I didn't see it happening, but I just knew the minute she was walking out the door that day, the last time I ever saw her, I knew I would never see her again. And I didn't. And so looking back, I know how it prepared me. Now, it was still difficult, of course. Anytime we lose a loved one, especially someone super close to us, it is really, really hard to accept sometimes. But that brings me to talking about death in general, and what is death, and why is it so tough to understand all these different perspectives of it? Because some of us handle death really easy, and some of us really have a hard time with it. And I think it's easier to handle when we have a good understanding of what actually happens when we die. So in my work with the hypnosis, I take people through their death experience, and that's just part of the session. And I've not had a single person who didn't have a peaceful death experience. And every single person goes to a very loving, very harmonious place. And it doesn't hurt. Death doesn't hurt. The other thing is, we don't ever really die, do we? Our souls are eternal. We are multidimensional beings. We live on all different planes throughout different dimensions, all in this grand illusion of what we call time, which doesn't really exist. It's just a part of our mind. It's a concept that we create. Dolores Cannon said, mankind is the only species in the universe that has learned to measure something that does not exist. And while, again, this is another concept that's really hard to wrap our brains around, it also, for me, makes a lot of sense to know that in the now, everything is happening now on all these different timelines, on all these different dimensions, that this universe is so complex that it would almost have to be that way. It can't just be this singular line of time where just us human beings here on Earth are having an experience and it ends here. That doesn't make a lot of sense either. So when we die, we go back to the spirit world. We go back to where Source is. Source is everywhere, but we go back to that place where we can see more of a grander whole. We can understand from a different perspective why we just came from the life we came from. We can see where we need to go. We can see what we've accomplished, what we need to do better next time. It's a whole different perspective on the spirit side, the real eternal world. And so for me, that makes death a little less scary, knowing that I'm just going back to the place where I understand more, where there's more love, where I can make plans and set up soul contracts to try this again in another lifetime, in another planet, in another dimension. So on the spirit side, there is no veil. The veil that we have here, the veil of illusion that separates our unconscious mind from our conscious mind, and that prevents us from really being able to see the totality of existence. Penetrating this veil is really the goal, one of the goals of spiritual enlightenment, really. And the degree to which we can penetrate this veil really determines how intuitive we are in this life. So I think, like I was talking about at the beginning, a lot of us, we all come in with different clairvoyant abilities, some stronger, some not as strong, but that's just our own choosing of how we are penetrating or getting this little glimpse through the veil, just so we have this understanding of the broader picture. And so on the spirit side, we get to see everything. There is no veil shading the experiences. We see it all. The veil makes us forget. We forget that we are one. We forget that we're connected. We forget that we have power. And being able to pierce through it is our remembering. So some of us remember more and some of us remember less. We all have these gifts. We just forget them. And it's just about remembering. And our dream world helps us to do that. It helps us make a bridge between that conscious mind and unconscious mind that is veiled. Well, in the dream world, we can see through that a whole lot easier. and learn what that connection is to our higher self, and learn how to listen to it better by working with it, by working with all of our signs and symbols that we get from our guides and from our higher self. And also remember to ask your guides for help. It's the single most important thing that we can do when we're learning to work with our intuition, is always asking for help, asking for clarification, asking for signs. In that way, we learn to solidify our knowing. So, Lori, I'm hoping that hopefully that can take some of the anxiety and fear out surrounding your visions, hopefully knowing that there's nothing scary about death, and it's really an eternity of bliss, that and there's nothing you can do about it, hopes to take away some of that anxiety. Because I think what happens a lot of times when we start gaining weight is we do that as a protection mechanism. And so maybe this gift that you have is causing enough fear that you're protecting yourself by gaining weight. So if you can try to let go of any fear, any guilt, any anxiety, then that weight should come off if that's the reason why you are putting it on. And the last thing I want to say about this is that all of these people that you're connected with, that you're having these downloads or visions or predictions about, even your friend having the predictions about the earth, this is all happening because these connections are no accident. We've all chosen each and every one of these people in our lives before we get here. And we're here just playing a specific part, being a unique vibration, bringing a different experience or a different way to learn emotions. And some people are more connected to us than others are. And in the grand scheme, we're all connected. Some are just closer on that path. And so if you can hear it, you have that special gift, then they're going to be reaching out to you. And remember that it is a gift. I think that's one of the biggest things as well. The worst thing we can do is ignore it and try to push it away. So it's there for a reason. So work with it and always remember to see it as the gift that it is. There's a quote from the Law of One that this reminds me of. And it says, "We leave you in appreciation of the circumstances of the great illusion in which you now choose to play the pipe and timbrel and move in rhythm. We are also players upon a stage. The stage changes. The acts ring down. The lights come up once again. And throughout the grand illusion and the following, there is the undergirdling majesty of the one infinite creator. All is well. Nothing is lost. Go forth rejoicing in the love and the light, the peace and the power of the one infinite creator." And with that, everyone, I am out of here. My curtain is closing for the day. So I will leave you with a song. The song is called Be Love, featuring Tubby Love by Satsang. Enjoy, everyone. Until next time. Also, if you're craving more consciousness elevating content, be sure to check out Gaia, which is the go-to source for streaming consciousness content on the web, where you can stream an incredible 7,000 plus exclusive videos covering 5,000 years of wisdom. As you all hear Brandon constantly say, it is a daily conscious effort to maintain an elevated vibration, and if you're looking to journey deep down the rabbit hole to do so, then Gaia is the best place we know of to do it, period. And you can sign up for your first month for only 99 cents at gaia.com/positivehead. That's spelled GAIA.com/positivehead. Check it out.
Sad song on the track, yeah. Tubby Love got your back, say. Alright. Yeah, yeah. Well, these days, it's hard to be, hard to let go, said it's hard to see. It seems there's always something to trying to keep us us down. War of a world turned upside down. But I see love, so sing it out. Well, this song is timeless, transcending the world and unscathed by violence. And I won't let them harden me. Well, I know there's work to do. Putting my gloves on, said I work with you. Cause I know we can be the change, yeah. Now sometimes it's hard, but it must be done. So I'm gonna be love, I'm gonna birth strength, gonna be where I'm at and give thanks. Take my time, admit when I'm wrong, write it all down and sing a new song. I'm gonna be free, gonna be me, cause I know that it's all that I have to be. I'ma be bold, find strength there. Oh, now I'm gonna be love. I'm gonna be love, yeah. I'm gonna be love, yeah. I'm gonna be love, yeah.
This one's for my tribe, one tribe, because we're all in this together, living in crucial times, yeah. And we can make a change. We can make a change. We can learn how to love each other, and how to live in a sacred way. Great Creator, keep on growing us strong. Keep it growing strong. Give us roots in our foundation to carry the healing song, yeah. If this is our chance to truly make a difference and get off the fence, grab your friends and get into it. We can all sing. Try it out.
Well, sometimes it's hard, but it must be done. So I'm gonna be love, I'm gonna birth strength, gonna be where I'm at and give thanks. Take my time, admit when I'm wrong, write it all down and sing a new song. I'm gonna be free, gonna be me, cause I know that it's all that I have to be. I'ma be bold, find strength there. Oh, now I'm gonna be love. I'm gonna be love, yeah. I'm gonna be love. I'm gonna be love, yeah. I need my mama to tell me that everything is okay. I need my father to call me and say remember to pray. I need my brothers and my sisters in different phases, reminding me wherever I'm at, that's where my place is. I know I won't be here long, and I know that I'm often wrong, but I got this song, said I was meant to sing it. If you got one, come bring it. Now let go of hate and we'll co-create. I said a song that could heal the nation. No more waiting, twiddling my thumbs, but I lost my patience. Time to unify, cause that's where the strength is. I know it's hard to be the change when everything looking so strange. Gotta stay hopeful, gotta take time to pray. We need guidance if we're gonna try to lead the way. Sometimes it's hard, but it must be done. So I'm gonna be love, I'm gonna birth strength, gonna be where I'm at and give thanks. Take my time, admit when I'm wrong, write it all down and sing a new song. I'm gonna be free, gonna be me, cause I know that it's all that I have to be. I'ma be bold, find strength there. Oh, now I'm gonna be love. I'm gonna be love, yeah. I'm gonna be love. I'm gonna be love, yeah.
Just be love.